Once upon a time, there lived a black and white kitten who came into our lives. Her name was Spotty because she had a spot on her nose. However, she thought her name was Kitty, and this is how her story goes. It was the first day we got Kitty, and she was only 7 weeks old. She was a big kitten, much bigger than other kittens her age, but may I add, she was very cute as they come. Kitty loved to play. All we had to do was toss a ball, a small ball, and she would go and get it and bring it back. She loved doing this for hours at ends. She loved drinking out of the bathroom sink and toilet. Yes, she did. She also loved drinking from the water hose outside when my mom would water her garden. And sometimes she would find the holes from the hoses and drink from them. She also loved rolling in the fresh raked leaves in the fall. She also loved to play outside. She also loved to play hide and go seek. But she would come running along when somebody in the family would call her. But all the neighbors thought it was strange for a cat that listened the way she did and always answered with a meow to let us know where she was. She did a lot of things more like a dog than she did a cat. A dog that purred and also bit. If she knew somebody deserved to get punished, she would bite them on the back of their heel, or their foot, or their toe, whichever was close. And she would bite hard until she made sure the punishment was fit for the crime. Silly. Kitty was also a protector. When someone in the family who was speaking loud or yelling at someone or was angry, she would try to stand between that person and protect them and meow as loud as she could. Meow, meow, meow. So the yeller would stop yelling. Most of the time it was pretty funny because she would really get into it and we would have a laugh. And then after that, no one could be that serious afterwards. It's over. um, where was I? Also, Kitty knew when someone in the family wasn't feeling well, she would lay right next to them and keep them company, at least close, and watch over them and purr loud. She really loved her family with all her heart, and we loved her as well because she was one of a kind. One day, when Kitty was about 2 years old, there was a lot of construction going on because the bad weather hit our neighborhood, and there was a lot of construction workers making a lot of noise, and she ran off. I guess she got confused and frightened, and she didn't know where to go, so she ran off to an adjusted ranch, a very big ranch. I was sad when I heard the news. We couldn't find her. We called her and looked everywhere. We put posters up. We knocked on doors, but she was nowhere to be found. Days turned into weeks because we were all sad. So my mom went to the pet store and came home with Pepper. Now, Pepper was a tiny, tiny little cat. about this size, tiny, tiny, about this size. She's still tiny. Well, Pepper made herself right at home. I guess it was Kitty's scent was still there. And plus, Kitty's belongings all over the house must have made it very inviting for Pepper. Pepper was like, this is a pretty nice house. There's a bed for me, toys. Like they were planning for me. Boy, did Pepper stink. Woof! P.U. We gave her a bath, and that was the end of it. She started washing herself until then. Since then. Anyway. Her personality was much different than Kitty's. More darling, but I still miss Kitty, though. Pepper was not a replacement for her. Not for me. The next morning, as I was getting to know Pepper, who was very friendly and curious and playful, and I played with her. She's still that way till today. Pepper loved to climb trees and, go on the roof, and she was like a Mission Impossible cat. And she one time got stuck on my windowsill. It was so funny. She's like suction cat. And then, lo and behold, I could have sworn I heard a meow outside. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. Was it Kitty? And I looked, Kitty, Kitty. But because of my window, it was a little high. And very much, it sounded like Kitty. I ran outside, called, Kitty, Kitty. And there she was. She was running as fast as she could. Her belly was flying from side to side. I was so happy to see her. We all were. We cried. We were so happy she was back. Kitty got along with dogs and cats in the neighborhood. She even brought home baby rabbits unharmed. She didn't kill. Kitty was not a killer. But she wanted mom and dad to raise them and never hurt any animal. She loved everything around her. Now, Pepper was very disappointing to me. No. Now seeing Pepper was very disappointing to her. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. She wasn't happy to be replaced. I don't think anybody would. But but being the greatest cat she was, she took Pepper under her paw and accepted her as part of the family. Although, just being in the house with more than a day, they did not like each other. It was like, who's this kind of deal. But needless to say, there was some paw slapping going around, but only a few days they became friends. Such an angel Kitty is. Okay. Kitty got used to Pepper getting food. She was mean to her because she was getting a little chubby, and my mother had to put her on a diet because the vet said she needed to lose some weight. And Pepper was a bad eater. She stayed thin. She's still thin. And Kitty would be somewhere hiding behind the couch or a chair when Pepper was eating, and pounce when nobody was looking. Very sneaky she was. Kitty stopped fetching the ball after Pepper came to live with us, but she enjoyed other things like putting her paw into the golf ball return thingy and making huffing sounds and driving the whole family nuts. She loved doing other things and were fun to watch. She loved getting dressed up for Halloween just as much as I did, and loved being in pictures. She often posed when she saw me with the camera. Kitty loved spending time with her family and me. She would scratch to try to open up my bedroom door, and often be able to. She was so tricky. Some days she would scratch and meow until I opened up the door. She loved sleeping with me in my bed and took over my chair. And she also loved taking over her dad's office chair, and she would fight him for it. So he bought himself another chair, hoping that it wouldn't end up. It wasn't though. She just loved to sit, being the top cat. And he ended up putting a box on his chair, and she wouldn't sit on it, and it worked. And he would be covered in her cat hair all the time. Other words, he really didn't mind. He loved her. We all did. She just did that with the chairs. My mom just told her to get off, and she did. Not for me and my dad, though. This is kind of a sad part to say. These were all happy times until Kitty got sick. And she had a couple of operations before. And she was okay afterwards, but she got diabetes. My mom had to take her to the vet to get shots. But she got worse and lost weight and wouldn't eat or drink. So my mom quickly took her to the vet and put her on meds again. Kitty didn't like that. She would always complain and meow and meow and meow and say, "No, stop, stop, please." But we were doing this to help her. My mom took her to the vet every morning and picked her up in the evening so she could stay in her own house and sleep in her own bed and be with us during the night. My mom didn't want her to be alone at the vet. Kitty got better thanks to prayers and miracles. She gained weight again and played and did sneaky things like she did before. We were all happy about this. June. Okay, I'm ahead of myself. Kitty went to heaven June 6th of 2013 of last year. It was the saddest day of my life, losing my best friend over 14 years. She would have been 14 in September 9th of 2013. It was very hard for me. I still miss her. I wish she was here to cuddle with me. That was one of her favorite things to do, and mine. But I know one day I'll see her in heaven. I do believe they do go to heaven. I mean, Cotton made her the way he did, gave her the personality he did. Not every cat has a personality like that. So, thank you for listening to the story. It wasn't really supposed to be a comedy, but it was more like a tribute to her. And I hope someday it turns into a story because I think she was pretty amazing. And she still is.